Hello, and welcome to the NVT Phybridge Management to Uplink Port Conversion video. My name is Nico, and today we'll be looking at how to convert our management port into an uplink port on your 10G managed switch. Now for starters, why would we need to convert our management port into an uplink port? By doing this, we can turn the port into an in-band switch port for auxiliary non-PoE use. Essentially, we can convert the management port into an uplink port or non-PoE port as a temporary means of integrating our switch into a network. This can be done in an event where we do not have SFP modules readily available. We can convert the management port into an uplink port that can use UTP Ethernet cabling. It should be reiterated that this is meant to act as a temporary measure of installing your switch until an SFP module can be acquired. Our first step will be to ensure that our laptop has an IP and subnet within range of the managed switch. This can be done by accessing the network and sharing center within the control panel of your PC. Select the Ethernet settings, go to Properties, and Internet Protocol version 4, or IPv4, to set up a static IP address within the subnet range of your switch. The default IP address of the management port is 192.168.1.1 and 192.168.100.1 for the uplink port. In order to connect to your managed switch, we will select Advanced to add multiple IP addresses to this endpoint. This way we can access either the management port or uplink ports at our convenience. All we will need to do is set up an IP address within the subnet range of each interface. Once we have done so, in order to convert our management port into an uplink port, we will need to connect to a command line interface through either SSH, Telnet, or a console connection through our serial console cable. If we are connecting via SSH or Telnet, we will be required to connect an Ethernet cable directly into the management port. If we are connecting via console, our serial console cable will connect to the console port of this switch. We will then access the command line interface via PuTTY. Ensure that we are connecting through the appropriate interface, and once we log into our switch, we will be able to issue the proper commands. It should be noted that if we are connecting via SSH or Telnet, to select the appropriate settings in PuTTY. If we are using a serial console connection, be sure to input the proper COM port we are accessing, and our speed should be set to 115.200. Once we have connected to the switch, we will be prompted to log in. The default username is admin, and the password is also admin. The managed port is isolated on VLAN 1001 as its intended use is for quick access into configuring the switch. However, in order to change the management port into an uplink port, we will need to switch the port to the main VLAN of the rest of the switch. By default, this would be VLAN 1. To do this, we will use the configure terminal command to enter global configuration mode, followed by the command interface gigabit Ethernet 1/25 to configure the management port. We can then switch the port's VLAN over with the command switchport access VLAN 1. Afterwards, we can use the end command to return to privileged exec mode, and use the copy running-config startup-config to save our configuration upon startup. If we are connected via the management port, we might lose connection to the command line interface, as the management port will have changed to a different VLAN and will therefore have a different IP address. All we will have to do is close the session, connect via the IP address of VLAN 1, by default 192.168.100.1, and then save our configurations upon startup. Once the SFP module has been purchased, we can revert these changes by re-entering global configuration mode. Using the command interface gigabit Ethernet 1/25 once again, and then switchport access VLAN 1001 or 1001. Be sure to save the configuration once more after these changes are made. Thank you again for watching the NVT Phybridge Management to Uplink Port Conversion video, Any and all configurations can be found within our admin guides found on our website at nvtphybridge.com. We hope this has been an informative look at installing your managed switch, and we hope you have a wonderful day.